Local weather, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call the WAIN Weather Line, 384-5302.
Mainly clear tonight with a low of 50. Northeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies tomorrow, 78. Tomorrow night, lows around 48.
From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 77.
CBS Sports Radio, 1270 AM WAIN and W270DI, Columbia, Kentucky.
You're listening to 93.5 Hot Country, Columbia, Kentucky, home of Lindsey Wilson Athletics that captured the 2015-16 Learfield Directors Cup.
I mean, advertising, would encourage a lot of local listeners, but I've got people from 3 and 4 different countries listening. It's because 2 different continents.
it's because how special you are.
I mean, I just send them a text.
Yeah. Anybody gonna be watching that? Clemson, a 2-14 Louisville team?
No, I do think.
Coaster to even talk, I believe. She didn't.
I still got my 1,000-point ball, and if I ever get broke someday, I'm gonna auction it off. I think it'll bring a lot of money. Chris, how can Marion be 1-17?
I don't know.
They're 1-17.
How can Louisville be 2-17?
I just think.
Sorry, Austin.
Chili supper, and they're going to recognize Coach Stonebreaker during the game, and so all that's going to be exciting.
Folks, this guy's doing all this with zero notes. So he's just like throwing stuff out there.
It's involving food. I guarantee. I mean, he knew that one.
Well, I'm just trying to. I'm definitely going to have 2 bowls of chili because I'm going to make a nice donation. I'm going to have the chili. I'm going to try it.
I wouldn't be shocked at all to see a bowl up there. Pass it to the left side.
We're going to take a 2-minute break. I've been known to do that.
Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the JNS Auto Sales Sports Talk live and local. We come to you each Wednesday afternoon here on 1270 AM and 1019 FM, CBS Sports Radio, WAIN. Our sponsors are Lindsey Wilson College, United Citizens Bank, TJ Regional Health, and our title sponsor, as always, is JNS Auto Sales. You can follow us on Facebook at WAIN 101.9 FM and 1270 AM. You can also find us on YouTube at WAIN Radio. We archive those shows now on YouTube, so if you miss something, hey, you don't have to worry about it. You can just log on a little bit later on at WAIN Radio and watch us live. Alongside John Shelley, Scott Bennett, Austin Armstrong, our studio engineer. I'm Chris Wells, and gents, lots to talk about this week. Unfortunately, locally, football-wise, we had a couple of losses with Adair and Lindsey Wilson, but boy, some really really good games just came up on the short end.
Scott and I were talking about the last Adair County team that really competed in a game of that stature, where you're playing a really good team, and it went to the wire. I mean, it could have went either way. A game of ebbs and flows, the injury with 4 minutes and 44 seconds to go on the onside kick with the 45-minute delay or something. You just knew the momentum could change at that point. It was the counter. They ran the counter off the wing tee.
Very next play, right?
Very next play, and Aiden had a shot at him, a shoestring tackle attempt, but for naught. His kid took it 55 yards for the go-ahead score, and then Adair County gets the ball back down 7, and the game ends on a controversial spot on 4th down where we're inside the 20 at about the 18-yard line.
I heard your stat guy in the background on the radio. He did not agree with the spot at all.
Well, what really looked bad is when the guy, the second official came in and moved it back a yard. It was like, no, basically overruling the side judge, and it came up short on downs. I haven't seen the tape, but it sure looked like he got it. But again, in the press box, we were a long way away from the action, and that's just how it ended. But nonetheless, a great effort by the Indians. I thought they played really well. Another huge play in the game, Scott, was the illegal man downfield call on the basket catch in the back of the end zone by Stonebreaker, which was huge. Again, I'm anxious to talk. I'll get to talk to Coach Stonebreaker tomorrow about a couple of those things. But just a huge play that was brought back, but a really exciting game to call. It was a marathon with the delay. I felt like I'd played when the game was over. But Scott, some of your thoughts?
I went down there hoping they could compete because I didn't know what they were. I didn't know what we were. I'll be brutally honest. Except for Bethlehem, we really hadn't played a lot of competition, and I just really didn't know. Thought when the game started, we had that fumble on the first possession, and they scored just snap of a finger, and I was like, uh-oh. But then,
sitting in Columbia, listening to it, I thought, uh-oh, also.
I was like, here we go. But then I thought we settled back in pretty well. I was tickled, and to come back and have the lead with 4 minutes left, it's like, that's all you can ask for. I was pleased with the effort. I don't know how good Franklin Simpson is. The RPIs come out, and the RPIs it's junk right now, obviously, because it's so early in the season. It bases too much stuff on your opponents records, regardless of your record. But Franklin Simpson come out as the number 2 team in 3A in the RPI. So Adair County's ranked 12th after the loss. So it was a good test, and I'm anxious to see how they bounce back this week. I just hope they don't become complacent. Monroe County don't have the best record, but going back to that RPI, they've got a better RPI than we do. So it's just I hope they don't come out and flat-footed. I don't think they will, being back first time at home in a month, basically. So I'm anxious to see how that goes.
27-20 was the final score. Franklin Simpson defeats Adair County, and first game of district play on Friday night. Adair falls to 3-1 on the season. They'll take on Monroe. Before we talk about Monroe, John, I know you kind of broke everything down, but Scott gave his takeaway about how Adair competed. What was your takeaway from the game?
Well, at halftime, I was really frustrated at our kicking game. We were down 7-6, and I'll be honest, the onside kick worked to start the second half. When we scored the go-ahead touchdown and got to 2, I was shocked with the onside kick.
I was a little surprised as well.
I don't know.
That's when they work well, though.
That's right. That's exactly right.
I'm curious to know if maybe he mishit it a little bit, because we just squirm it down to 35 anyway. That's what we do. We kick it. We angle kick it down there out of bounds. I see the point. You're giving it to him at the 35 versus the 45 or around the 40. So you're giving up 5 yards with a chance to recover. Mm-hmm. But again, it was a good play. That play had went for big yardage earlier in the game. Scott or Ty had alluded to that Lane Grant, last year with us running the wing tee, he made a lot of hay with that play, that counter play, where all the flow went to the right and it came back left, and it was just good execution. The kid took it in. I thought. Adair County showed great poise in the last 4 minutes driving it down there in the 20 in an atmosphere, Chris. It was, I don't know how to describe it. It was a huge crowd. I think tradition down there, they love football, and it was a bleachers. That side, Scott, would you say at least it's 3 times bigger than our side, our bleachers at Adair County?
At least.
Just the height and the length of it was concrete. It was all concrete. It was full of people. Of course, we were glassed in, and we couldn't hear a lot of the chirping, which is good. But it was just a great atmosphere. It had to be a great atmosphere to play in. Really unfortunate. Their running back took a shot and had to go out, and then the kid that also played a lot of reps that got hurt on the special teams play. But other than that, it was a clean game, a very well played game, I think, by both teams. After the lost fumble, I don't think there were any other turnovers, were there, Scott, in the game?
Don't think so.
Very clean.
Lane threw an interception right there before the half.
Okay, maybe one interception.
It was like a fourth down.
Hail Mary type deal. Kind of but it was a very well played game. Two good teams. I wish, and I know Coach Stonebreaker wishes this too, when we get inside the 10, if we had a kicker, just somebody, we're making do with Aiden right now kicking extra points, but a lot of times these things are coming down to, being down 1 or 2, and you get inside the 10, and, we're going to go for it, because I think probably safe in saying that, looking for a kicker, Scott.
John loves a field goal kicker. I've been working with him long enough to know John loves a field goal kicker. I'm like you though, John. Sure, there's somebody in that school that nothing against Aiden. Aiden's if without Aiden, we wouldn't have the record we got right now, offensively and defensively. Just we struggle on extra points even, and just have a open tryout or something, come out there. There's kids that can kick out there, I'm sure. It's just
and Chris, we even with 4:44 to go, when Franklin Simpson got it back down 2019, they have a guy that, and Coach Stonebreaker talked about it. They were kicking it. He was kicking it back to inside the 5 goal line, where Solomon Stonebreaker was returning a lot of kickoffs from the goal line. And he said, that's going to really swing field position. He even said that in the pregame show. And so 2019, they're thinking if we can get inside, the 15, all we need is a field goal. But didn't work out that way.
And they didn't need to get inside the 15 really in pregame. I don't know if you paid attention or not. He was hitting 45 yarders, just boom, 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 boom. He's got a good leg, really good leg.
But a couple stats in the game, Chris, worth noting here. Lane Grant was 13 for 24, 117 through the air with 2 touchdowns. And then we had the halfback pass. Aiden Smith completed a 69-yard halfback pass for a touchdown. Lane also ran it 24 times for 88 yards. Byron Rogers saw him get the bulk of the carries at tailback. 8 carries for 31 yards. And what a game Solomon Stonebreaker had. 8 catches for 140 yards, 2 touchdowns. It had the 1 taken away. So it was at least from 35. That would have put him over $175 for the game. Aiden caught 4 balls for 41 yards. I think probably Adair County's looking for that third guy, Solomon and Aiden, and looking for that third guy to really spread the wealth a little bit. I've seen Jaden Miller catch a lot of balls from that wide out spot or slot spot, but it just seems like as we get later in the year, teams are going to really probably double Solomon. So, can we get the ball to some of these other guys? And I know Coach Stonebreaker and his staff, they know that, and they'll be game planning for that. But I thought we had a great game plan. Played them toe to toe. It was just a great high school football game. Came up just a little short.
What was the mood for both of you after the game? Because a lot of times I look at, especially like if I go to a commercial break, I look down on the field and I want to see what the players, what their expressions are. Obviously they're going to be dejected, but is it? Scott mentioned this was a game against a ranked team that by all counts purposes, it's a team that you're not supposed to even play with, and Adair County did. I'm just curious, what the takeaway was for the guys.
I got to just say a couple words to Hayden, Scott's son, after the game. He seemed real upbeat. I just noticed the team gathered down under the goalpost and had their little game post game ritual. and seemed fine. I think we got out of the game too pretty much injury free. So that's good because I think Monroe County will be tough, but you got the tough gauntlet after that with Glasgow and Hart.
That's what worries me is though with the trap game. The
trap game.
This is what this is.
And then on paper we finish up with Butler, Macquarie Central, and Metcalf. On paper those are games where Adair County will be favored in, but these district games. It'll be anxious to see Glasgow playing really good football and Hart County playing really good football. So, we'll see. I think Coach is pretty happy with where his team is right now, though.
And I think, and we might come out and just get blown out of the water by Glasgow or Hart County, but I think the way Coach Stonebreaker calls the game, he's gonna have us in a lot of ball games. I really like. We don't huddle, but we're not in any hurry either. He gets them lined up, and he looks to what the defense is going to do, and then it's simple math. That's kind of what he said in here when we had him on the show earlier in the spring. It's kind of math. You got enough in the box. You got too many in the box. We're throwing the ball. You don't have enough in the box. We're running it.
And what he does, Chris, with the 5 wide receiver look, that only puts 6 guys in the box, and of course, you've got 5 down linemen, and a lot of times Lane's back there by himself, but basically you got 6 on 5 with an up back, and the safety has to make the tackle. So he will do that a lot of times, and then when they start putting people in the boxes where he starts throwing the football. So he's a master at knowing what the defense gives him.
There was John, I remember this, what did we run it 3 or 4 times in a row? We'd stack wide receivers to the left-hand side. Well, the cornerback was playing way off. The safety is in the middle of the field. Throw it straight over there.
I heard Ty a couple of times, just do it again. Yeah. Do it again.
We were getting 8 yards. We're getting 8 yards.
And then they finally moved the outside linebacker over. As soon as they done that, Lane ran a counter the other way for about 18 yards, something like that. It was just a.
And I got to give Coach Cross some props. His defense has played really well, and I thought they played really well the other night. They bent a lot, but they didn't break a lot. And he's going to twerk with that defense, or tweak, I guess is the right word.
I hope you don't twerk.
I think twerking. I think twerking is the word when I go to karaoke with 2 beers is when I start twerking.
Austin, you just got your clip that you can put on the.
He's going to tweak that defense where he's going to get the maximum out. I mean, they're playing well, but he'll continue to play around with it to get the maximum results from that.
Monroe County this Friday night, back home. It has been a while since you guys have been home. 7 o'clock kickoff.
Nice getting home before.
Oh, it will.
10:30, 11 o'clock.
It will.
You kind of mentioned a little bit about Monroe County, but kind of go a little bit more. I know you talked about the trap game. Why do you say that? Tell me a little bit about Monroe.
Monroe County, history-wise, Monroe County's got a great program.
Yeah.
The last 7-8 years, they've just been not good. I mean, that's just the kind of where they've been now. Their coach, Coach Pettit, is back. He was there. He was coaching when I played. Coached for years and retired, and he's came back now. I think this is 3rd, maybe 4th year back, and I think he's starting to get the kids back out to play. And it's like I said, I'm glad it's at home because it's a different animal down there. It's you talking about bringing crowds out and stuff like that. It's you can get rowdy down there in a hurry, but it's just it's one of those games on paper you should win. And you got 2 huge district games coming up 2 weeks after that, and sometimes it's just hard for kids to see what's right in front of them instead of looking ahead.
No,
it looks like on paper, Chris, they run at about 60%, 67%, 2/3 of the time. So they're going to be more run, very similar to Franklin Simpson. They're going to run it a lot more than they throw it. So,
anything else on football before we go over to volleyball?
No, I did get a report from Michelle Neat on volleyball, and they've had, and I know Scott's daughters plays, but they have had a ton of games since we first met.
Yep.
Or since we last met. Clinton County, they won that one 3-1, and then the Lindsey Wilson, the tournament they had, they call it the Adair County Classic.
Yep.
They lost to Todd County Central 2-0. They beat Danville Christian 2-0, beat Somerset 2-0, beat Christian County 2-0 and Somerset 2-1. Lost to Marion County 3-1, and then lost to Russell County last night 2-0. So had a lot of games. Coach Neat has just sent me some stuff here and says in the Clinton County game, the girls showed a lot of fight, put a complete game together. It was back and forth during the second, third, and fourth sets, but the girls did not give up. Olivia Mantooth had 17 kills, 5 digs, 4 aces, and a block. In the Lindsey Wilson or Adair County Classic at Lindsey Wilson, they had a great showing, and they had several teams there: Casey, Danville Christian, FCA, John Hardin, Todd County Central, Somerset Christian County. They finished 4-1, and only losing to Todd County. John Hardin did go on to win that tournament. Marion County. The girls battled first set, won the first set, lost the next 3. They were excited to have Jazzy Kemp back in the Marion County game after being hurt for a significant amount of time. The Russell County game, they were beat 2-0. Played a great first set. Our biggest battle right now is mental, working through the toughness, fight through adversity, and not give up. So, they had a pretty successful week, I would think, if you're looking at wins, losses.
Yep. They're on the road on Thursday. They'll go up to Pulaski County is the next game. They're 7-9 on the season, so right close to 500 on the year.
Yeah, that weekend little tournament got them up to 5. They were 7-7 at that time. Mm-hmm. They dropped 2 this week. But,
yep.
They needed some feel good, and I think that really helped them.
I did send out a message to Nick Cole, but I haven't heard back from Nick on golf, so I don't have a report on golf.
All right, that's going to do our Adair County segment. We're going to step away for a couple minutes. When we come back, we will talk a little Lindsey Wilson athletics. This is the J&S Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local.
United Citizens Bank. This is Matt Loy with United Citizens Bank. Although I'm very proud of all the products and services we offer, the best thing we have to offer is good, old-fashioned customer service. It may seem like banking is moving to smartphones and computers, and while we can do that too, we don't think anything can replace a firm handshake and your confidence in our word. When you think personal service and customer-first banking, think UCB. United Citizens Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
This is Kylie McCovens. I'm a Greene County High School graduate and a Lindsey Wilson College student. I'm well on my way to earning my degree in Human Services and Counseling. At LWC, I've met new people, had the opportunity to become involved on campus, and I've loved being a part of campus ministry. Visit today and you will want to make Lindsey Wilson College your new home too. Call the admissions office at 270-384-8100 or email us at admissions@lindsey.edu.
Have you injured yourself playing a sport or exercising? Sports medicine experts at TJ Regional Health are trained to get you back on the road to recovery, whether you're dealing with sprains, fractures, knee and shoulder injuries, or other common injuries. Our goal is to prevent illness and injury in active individuals of all ages and help prevent future problems to maximize your performance. Find out more at tjregionalhealth.org/rehab. Patients first, team always. TJ Rehabilitation Services.
Let J&S Auto Sales show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Columbia. They believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Shop their virtual showroom of used cars, trucks, and SUVs online at jnsautosalesky.org. J&S Auto Sales, here to help you find that perfect car you deserve, priced to fit your budget.
It's how sports know-it-alls know it all. CBS Sports Radio, 101.9 FM. and 1270 AM WAIN. Plus online, 1019WAIN.com.
Dr. Chuck Giles wants to welcome everyone back to school and wants to remind you to pay attention to school buses' flashing indicator lights. The yellow flashing lights means that you should slow down as the bus is preparing to stop, and red flashing lights means that you need to stop your vehicle while the bus lets children on or off. Even if the lights aren't flashing, be sure to keep your eyes peeled for children as you navigate the roads before and after school hours. This message brought to you by Dr. Chuck Giles.
Welcome back to J&S Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local. Our sponsors are TJ Regional Health, United Citizens Bank, Lindsey Wilson College, and our title sponsor, J&S Auto Sales. Let's talk a little Lindsey Wilson athletics. We'll save the football to the very last, but I want to start off with a couple of highlights of the week for the Blue Raiders. They started out yesterday when the Lindsey Wilson men's golf team won their first tournament of the season in their first attempt. Gentlemen, they were playing on a pretty easy course, but some of these numbers that I'm getting ready to tell you are just crazy, stupid. I mean, the team on over 3 rounds shot 50 under par, 273, 271, 270 on a par 288. I mean, if you round it up, it'd be 288. I mean, just crazy. 50 under par. Mullen Reed won the tournament. He shot 19 under par, had 21 birdies, carded 65, 65, 67 over the 3 rounds. Linus Doverfours finished third for the Blue Raiders. He shot 15 under. Can't even win shooting 15 under par. He shot 70 in round 1 and bounced back with a 64, 67. So men's golf team off and running. Of course, finished number 3 in the country last season.
Do they have fall rankings?
They do. Their first ranking's already out, and I think the men are 5th. It's you know, they just had an unbelievable start to the season. They'll actually be next week is our home tournament. So you guys want to go out and watch some pretty good golf, you should go out and watch that team. And here's the thing.
The tips at the Pines?
They do. As far back as they go. Yeah. And let's see. They play it. Let me think about this for a second. I think number 12. I think 12 is a par 4. I don't think they play it as a par 5. I think they play the course as par 70 for the men at that tournament. So one of the par 5s they count as a 4. I don't remember which one it is. It's either 12 or 4. I don't remember which one, but either way, they'll be in action next week at the Pines. And here's the thing. The guy who finished national runner-up last year, 1 stroke out of a playoff, wasn't on the team. He didn't qualify for this tournament. So that's how deep this Lindsey Wilson team is. And he'll be back. There's no doubt about it in my mind. But he'll be in action next week, as will the rest of the Blue Raiders on this team. But my goodness, what a way to start the year. And Chris Butler's first tournament as a head coach. So congratulations to Chris on winning the tournament.
Setting yourself up for success.
Yeah.
Under the bar.
Yeah. I'm going to
3 scores, Chris. Right?
What do you mean?
3 scores to total the 50 under, or 4.
You count four players. Yeah, over 3 rounds. Yeah. The women's team finished 6th in that tournament. Megan Mann was the best Blue Raider on the course for the 2 days, 3 rounds. She finished 13th, shot 73, 76, 73, 6 over par in the tournament to tie for 13th. Lindsey Wilson women was without a couple of players in this tournament, or they could potentially one of them's an All-American from a year ago, so they'll be fine as well. Just not the start that the men have, obviously, but I don't know who how can you start any better than the Lindsey Wilson men. Volleyball picked up a win last night. They beat Boyce 3-0. They moved to 500 on the season at 6-6. They'll take on Brescia tomorrow tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. And then next Tuesday, they'll travel to Georgetown to open up conference play as they'll take on the Tigers next Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Women's soccer off to a really tough start for a second straight year. They're 1-4 on the season, lost to number 1 Spring Arbor last night, and it doesn't get much better. They'll go on the road on Saturday at number 12 Indiana Wesleyan. So Blue Raiders struggling a bit right now, but hoping to bounce back here soon. And then our second really good piece of news that just happened during the commercial break. The Lindsey Wilson men's soccer team, ranked 5th in the country, just finished off a 3-0 win over number 1 Bethel, Indiana. So the defending national champions, Lindsey Wilson, was in the national semifinals last year. The team they lost to, Mobile, lost to Bethel in the championship game a year ago, and they just beat them 3-0 on the road. So Blue Raiders off to a 5-1 start. That's I was looking at some of the stats from that game.
Great win.
Fantastic. And you know, here's the funny part. We talked about this not too long ago, that the men's team got off to such a horrendous start a year ago and then finished strong. And we were just wondering, can they carry that momentum into the season? And it looks like that they have. Just looking at some of the let's see here. Looking at some of the stats from the game. Shots were pretty even, 12-10. Shots on goal, 5-4. As you expect, it's two top 5 teams playing one another. They had a few more corners than Lindsey Wilson did in the game, but the most important fact is the fact that Lindsey Wilson put 3 in the back of the net. Just looking at the scoring total here, Sebastian Tregarthen had a pair of goals in the game. He scored about 10 minutes into the first half, and then scored his second goal midway through the second half, and then they added a insurance goal late in the second half to pick up the 3-0 win. So congratulations to the Blue Raiders, and they'll come back home and then go up to Grace, Indiana, where they'll take on number 10 Grace. Actually, it's Winona Lake, Indiana, at Grace College. They'll take on number 10 Grace at 5 o'clock on Saturday. So Blue Raider men not afraid to try to knock off some nationally ranked teams, and so far so good for the Blue Raiders this season. Again, they improved to 5-1. Lindsey Wilson football, much like Adair County football this week, dropped their first game of the season. They lost 30-26 to number 2 ranked Kaiser. They were 2 at the time. Kaiser's since fallen to 4th in the country. But heck of a comeback. They were trailing at 30-6, where the Blue Raiders at one time scored 20 unanswered, and guys had the ball late in the game. Obviously I was up in the booth calling the football game, and Lindsey Wilson's driving. Had a couple of balls first down, and we were, I'm going to say, somewhere around the 15, 18-yard line, something like that. Had 2 balls that were perfectly thrown by Ethan Cash that hit our guys in the hands. They couldn't bring them in. And, boy, you want to talk about just kind of momentum stoppers. Third down play, they got to Cash, bring it up instead of, I think it was 4th and 8 or 9, had a great play call. I don't think Ethan, our quarterback, saw the safety who was standing in the end zone make a break. He tried to hit the front pylon to Michael Burdick, who was coming across almost like a jet sweep, coming across the behind the line of scrimmage, and then sprint up the home sideline, and it just got there just a little. Actually, the ball arrived. It would have hit Burdick right in the hands at the front pylon, but the safety made a really good play, came out of the back of the end zone and knocked it down. Watching that play, and of course, again, it's Ethan's still a young quarterback, and he's going to be fantastic. There was a tight end that released right up the middle of the field. He was wide open. If you can throw it to Burdick just at about the 10-yard line instead of trying to lead him in the end zone. I haven't talked to Ethan yet. I don't think Ethan saw the safety in the end zone who knocked the play down. But you got to give them credit. That's exactly. It would have been a disastrous loss for Kaiser and been a heck of a comeback for the Blue Raiders. But ultimately, 30-26 win for Kaiser, and Lindsey Wilson falls to 1-1.
Questioning something. How does a team go from lose 2 spots by beating another ranked team on the road? I know they lost the first one.
They lost the first one.
But
and we hadn't had a poll since then.
And it wasn't in AA school, though. They also went in the Division 2.
Division 2, yep, Mississippi College. Yeah. So the preseason poll came out, and there's been 2 or 3 weeks of games before this first regular season poll. So that's the reason that they dropped. Ethan Cash finished 23 of 45, 285 yards, a couple touchdowns. Tobias Dawson with 68 rushing yards. He had a touchdown run. Blue Raiders back in action this Saturday, 1 o'clock. Okay, folks, listen to this. To those of you that are out there listening, we've already put it out on social media. If you have tickets to the game, the tickets say 1:30. If you see the posters around town or the schedule cards, game says 1:30. It's been moved to 1 o'clock. So get there a little bit earlier than what we thought, or what all the literature that's been passed out says. 1 o'clock Central Time kickoff against Point University. We'll have the coverage right here on 101.9 beginning at 12:15 with our pregame show. So tune in and listen to Lindsey Wilson and Point. And finally, before we get out of here, 2 final things. Lindsey Wilson's cycling team is the first to go to a national championship this year. Cycling's broken down into 4 disciplines, and the first one is track. It's kind of like the Velodrome. You know how it's really high, and it's called Track Nationals. They're up in Pennsylvania this weekend for the first national title. And I don't know if anybody saw this or not, but we announced yesterday that Lindsey Wilson College Athletic Department will sponsor women's wrestling starting in 2024, so next fall. We've had men's wrestling for over a decade, and women's wrestling's coming to Lindsey Wilson beginning next fall. So it's a different sport. They're both wrestling, obviously. They both are on different mats, but the scoring is completely different. It's bizarre. I was introduced to women's wrestling, collegiate women's wrestling, when I was serving as interim commissioner last spring, and got to go to our championship. And it's unique. It's different than men's wrestling. There's still weight classes and all that stuff. There's no forearm off the turnbuckle. I know that's what you're thinking over there, John. But it's different. Scoring's a little bit different, but it's going to be fun, and we're excited about. We already have a few women's wrestlers on our campus. They're setting out this year and going to compete next year. So excited for that. All right, that's going to do my Lindsey Wilson report. Again, Blue Raider football back on the air here on Saturday at 1 o'clock with our kickoff, and our pregame begins at 12:15. You can join Bob Boone and myself for that one. We're going to step away for a minute. We'll come back, talk a little state college football, and then we'll go national. This is the J&S Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local.
Let J&S Auto Sales show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Columbia. They believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Shop their virtual showroom of used cars, trucks, and SUVs online at jnsautosalesky.org. J&S Auto Sales, here to help you find that perfect car you deserve, priced to fit your budget.
Have you injured yourself playing a sport or exercising? Sports medicine experts at TJ Regional Health are trained to get you back on the road to recovery. Whether you're dealing with sprains, fractures, knee and shoulder injuries, or other common injuries, our goal is to prevent illness and injury in active individuals of all ages and help prevent future problems to maximize your performance. Find out more at tjregionalhealth.org/rehab. Patients first. Team always. TJ Rehabilitation Services.
this is Kylie McCovens. I'm a Greene County High School graduate and a Lindsey Wilson College student. I'm well on my way to earning my degree in Human Services and Counseling. At LWC, I've met new people, had the opportunity to become involved on campus, and I've loved being a part of campus ministry. Visit today and you will want to make Lindsey Wilson College your new home too. Call the admissions office at 270-384-8100 or email us at admissions@lindsey.edu.
United Citizens Bank.
This is Matt Loy with United Citizens Bank. Although I'm very proud of all the products and services we offer, the best thing we have to offer is good, old-fashioned customer service. It may seem like banking is moving to smartphones and computers, and while we can do that too, we don't think anything can replace a firm handshake and your confidence in our word. When you think personal service and customer-first banking, think UCB. United Citizens Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
JNS Auto Sales presents Sports Talk Live and Local Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Central on CBS Sports Radio, 1270 AM and 1019 FM WAIN. Also online at 1019WAIN.com. Join Scott Bennett and Chris Wells along with special guests as we talk local sports, Adair County, Lindsey Wilson College, and more. State sports, UK athletics, and others. JNS Auto Sales presents Sports Talk Live and Local on CBS Sports Radio.
Before I was adopted, I kind of felt alone.
Help the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption find homes for those waiting in foster care the longest. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Welcome back to the JNS Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local. Our sponsors are TJ Regional Health, Lindsey Wilson College, United Citizens Bank, and JNS Auto Sales. Austin Armstrong, our studio engineer here in the WAIN studios, alongside Scott Bennett, John Shelley. I'm Chris Wells. Guys, UK, U of L, Western all won on Saturday, all 2-0 on the year. Probably a little bit different feeling in each of the three locker rooms after those games because UK struggled against Eastern, winning at 28-17. Louisville hammered Murray 56-0, and Western won pretty handily 52-22 over a Houston Christian who I don't know that I've ever heard of. But let's start with UK first, John. I didn't get to see the game. I read about it, read some recaps on it. Obviously, Stoops, who wasn't happy in week one, certainly wasn't happy in week two.
This might sound crazy, but UK doesn't pass the look test.
Sure don't.
Out there. They don't fill out their uniforms. They don't. And I know this is supposed to be as far as 3 stars and 4 stars, and I think we have 1 5-star even. This is supposed to be the deepest roster that we've had, and I'm not seeing it. I think there's some major communication issues, it looks like, on the offensive side. I don't know. Liam Cohen was out, was here. He left for the Rams. He's back. But I'm seeing a lot of players that are not on the same page, is what it looks like to me. And, of course, Devin Leary, everything you read, with all the hype coming in, he just hadn't really played well yet. Nope. But defensively, to be down in the third quarter to Eastern, that just can't happen. And I know that Stoops has a lot of connection with a lot of those guys at Eastern. A lot of their coaches played at Kentucky or involved in Kentucky's program in a lot of different ways. But you can't trail Eastern in the third quarter and really win 28-17, in my opinion. But I guess we'll move on and see. But maybe we're trying to disguise and hide a lot of stuff, Scott.
It's working.
That's what I was going to say. There's no excuse for that score. But watching the game, I don't think UK ran more than 5 or 6 different plays the entire ball game. They're still trying. And I guess I can understand that in a way, but to me, the more plays you work on, the more, but they're just, these first 2 games, they're just trying to hide everything they can. I think they're going to try to do the same thing until they get to Florida. They want to hide everything they can hide. till they get there. So.
That's dangerous.
It is.
I mean, I think I don't know that Akron's going to give them much of a test this week, but I mean, Vandy beat you last year,
and you're on the road.
And you're on the road this time. So I mean, I don't think you can just sleepwalk into Florida.
Your locker room's a circus tent down there, literally.
Yeah,
they're redoing the stadium.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just a win and move on. But I know the natives are starting to get a little bit restless.
I think everybody's just surprised. I think with Cohen coming back, they thought it was going to be, everything's going to be fine. And then what you said earlier about the predictions of this is everything they were saying about how this is a deep roster, and I just really surprised.
The pace of the offense is super slow, and with these new clock rules, NAIA go to the same clock rules as the clock don't stop on first down.
That's right.
I don't see how they didn't realize it, but your plays are cut down significantly on that. I mean, it's run 50 plays in the first game and not many more than that in the second game, and it's just. They're taking forever to get a play in, and it's just, and like I said earlier, they're taking forever to get the plays in, but they're running the same 5 or 6 plays all the time. So
yeah,
it's just it's frustrating. I think maybe they'll get the kinks worked.
I've said all along, Stoops, he likes to punt and play defense, and I'm just wondering if. He has a hand on some of these coordinators. Jamie helped me that left. Dawson, Shannon Dawson. He put up huge numbers last week. He didn't work out, and I'm just when he was at Kentucky, I look back at those teams and. They were kind of muffled a little bit, and I'm just wondering if Stoops has a hand on. Hey, we're not risky. We're going to play very conservative, and we're going to play defense. We're going to punt the ball. We're going to play field position. He's an Iowa guy. That's how Iowa play. So, I just hope Leary can get it going with these receivers. That's what I'm really worried about. I think they're solid at tailback, but we got to get the receiving core and use these tight ends some in the passing game.
I'm disappointed in that. Use the tight end. You was talking about Stoops' philosophy stuff. I don't know if you all saw it or not, but I think it was on game day they interviewed Nick Saban, and he was talking about, of course, it might not be a good time to talk about what they did, but Saban was talking about, he said back 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, the college game started going towards spread, and Saban said it's coming back. He said it's going back to the old school stuff. He said you don't see it everywhere, but he said just watch, it's coming back. So he said nobody can figure out the spread at first. Everybody's got it figured out now. So now it's going back to, it's just teetering back and forth. So that just, I'm sure Stoops just loved to hear that.
I bet. Again, they play Akron, does UK. It's a 6:30 kickoff, so it's a night game up at Kroger Stadium or Field? Kroger Field. Yep. And they'll take
Commonwealth to me.
Yeah, that's right. They'll take on Vandy next week in their SEC opener. U of L with a 56-0 win over Murray. That was a primetime game on Friday night. Louisville looked good.
Yeah, they do. And my prediction for, of course, Kentucky can't play ball games yet with a 28. Actually, they can bet. You can bet at the venues, right? Yeah, nothing online. But I think there will be a lot of points scored in the Louisville-Indiana game coming up. Indiana's got a lot of speed.
Yep.
Louisville's going to give up some points in that game, but Louisville's going to score a bunch of points. I think it'll be a high-scoring game, Louisville-Indiana.
Where's that game? It's being played in Indianapolis. Is that at the RCA Dome, or is it?
It's in a dome. I do know that.
It's probably
so you're not affected by weather. So
that's a big place to be playing a Louisville/Indiana game, in my opinion.
It'll look like nobody's in.
Yeah, and I mean there'll be a bunch of people in there, but it won't. It just I don't know. But I thought they looked good. Now, again, they're playing Murray, and I know Murray's not. I mean Murray's Eastern. I mean, I kind of equate the two, and Louisville just took care of business.
Probably better.
Yeah,
but it's like I said, no excuse for it. You playing 1AA, you playing a bye game, you need to show it's a bye game.
Yep.
Western's quarterback, they just play extremely fast. They're going to put up big numbers.
Speaking of bye games, they got one of them this week. They paid for the other team because now they're getting paid.
Yeah, they're getting paid. They're going to Ohio State.
They're going to Ohio State Saturday.
Yeah. So Western will be on Fox. That'll be a nationally televised game for them. That's a 3 p.m. I found it interesting. I saw Twitter predictions this week from sports writers around Kentucky, and one of the sports writers picked Western to win this game. Of course, he was, I think he did it as a joke, but still, it's just kind of funny. But that's good publicity for Western.
Oh yeah, no doubt, and they're fun to watch. I've watched a little bit of both games, and they are.
They say if you're a college football fan, you got to watch a game at the Horseshoe there in Columbus. So that's on my bucket list someday to go to Columbus and watch a college football game.
All right. Texas walloped Alabama. Wow. I mean, I was stunned by how it just looked like to me they whipped Alabama in every way, shape, and form. I mean, from coaching to playing to whatever, they just looked like they well, obviously they were the better team, but they were far superior. Is what it looked like.
Alabama's got a young man back there at quarterback. I don't know how you guys feel. He just really struggles to throw it. He stares his routes down a long time, and it takes him a long time to make a decision. And teams are stacking the box because he is an extremely good runner, and he's a dual threat guy. But he's having trouble throwing the ball down the field, so teams are kind of preying on that right now.
So you got Georgia number 1 in the country, Alabama slipped to 10, and everybody else. I mean, the last several years, and I'm talking about maybe the last decade, the top 10 has been littered by SEC teams, and now you've got 2 kind of bookending the top 10. I think Tennessee's 11, and I think there's maybe another one on down there at 14 or 15. But has everybody else caught up with SEC?
Apparently the Pac-12 has.
In their swan song?
I mean, they're tied with Austin Peay at halftime, 6-6, Tennessee. I mean, it had to be a surprise.
And barely, not barely won, but it was, talking about the UK Eastern game, that's another Tennessee fans got to be furious about that game.
So,
I think, I don't know if it's a long-term thing, but you're talking about there's people catching up. They have this year so far.
Mississippi State struggling, Chris. They struggle.
Texas A&M, they laid an egg too.
So it'll be interesting.
They've laid multiple eggs.
South Carolina's really struggling. I would say he's probably on the hot seat down there a little bit.
So I can't stand him.
The way they played.
You really feel.
And his dad was a great football coach, and he puts more pressure on him. But that's a team. Kentucky's had their number. They've had their number. So.
Just looking at this week's college football schedule, I don't think there's a ranked team against a ranked team in the entire week. But there's still some interesting games. I mean, Colorado plays Colorado State, Ole Miss, Georgia Tech, Tennessee, Florida may be the one game that just kind of jumps off the page. Look, Washington and Michigan State, lots going on at Michigan State. Duke, Northwestern, lots going on at Northwestern. Georgia and South Carolina. So, you got some interesting games. Kansas State's taking on an SEC school in Missouri. But still, not a lot of premier games this week, and that happens from time to time. So, but again, that Texas-Alabama game was kind of a shock to me. Let's go to the pros now for just a moment. NFL, what's your takes from week 1? Let's start with wherever you want to be.
Cowboys.
Where were my Bengals? Did they forget there was a game? I mean, I followed it.
I watched some of it.
Dish Network decides to take Channel 32 off the local networking the night before the NFL opens up on Sunday. And so I didn't get to watch it, but I was following it on my phone. And Bengals just could not – I mean, yardage was a titanic struggle. They couldn't get any yards, going.
Here's my assessment of that game, because I watched probably off and on probably a half to more than a half of it, because it was an ugly game to watch. A, it was raining in Cleveland. B, you got Joe Burrow, who hasn't played any in the preseason outside of maybe a 5 seconds. He looked so rusty, and he was trying to throw a wet ball. The guys couldn't stand up on the field because it was sopping wet. It just it looked like the Browns just decided, you know what, we're going to stop the run, and that's what they did, and the Bengals couldn't throw the football. That's my assessment of it, and they just did not. They looked like a team that hadn't been playing together at all, and I think that's what happened.
Yeah. Well, I know that Cowboys defense looked really good. Of course, they got the Jets this weekend, and they're not high on their backup. Of course, with Aaron Rodgers,
he's not their backup anymore.
I know he was their backup. And, they're just not high on him, and what's their plan going to be for this weekend? Run the ball and punt. I mean, that Dallas defense.
You're not going to do that.
That's going to be. Have you ever seen a team get beat? Well, how bad did Dallas beat the Giants?
40-0.
40-0, and the Giants are a 4-point favorite against the Cardinals this weekend in Arizona.
Well, Arizona's pretty bad.
How bad are the Cardinals? Is my next question.
Yeah.
So,
wait a minute. What was the score of the Dallas game?
40-0.
Yes, it was. Yes, it
was. Every single way possible, I think.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, the Cowboys look really good. That Parsons is he's a difference maker on defense. Yeah,
no doubt about it.
I know when he played for Penn State.
What's your take on the Aaron Rodgers thing? I mean, has there ever been a bigger letdown after such a build-up?
4 plays.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a rain cloud over the Jet Stadium. I mean, they just can't.
Somebody said on TV, they're just cursed. I mean,
they can't have any luck.
They are cursed.
And they've got a lot of weapons. That defense is unbelievable.
Yeah, so here's the dilemma that they have, in my opinion. I don't think Zach Wilson can lead this team. I don't know who, and there's nobody out there to go get. I mean, there just isn't. They are going to get their number 1 draft pick back because Rodgers didn't play so many snaps or whatever. So that's the Packers fans are probably disappointed about it. I know the front office of the Packers are disappointed because they were going to get the Jets' first-round pick if he played 400 snaps, whatever it was. I don't know what the exact number is. But do you use that pick to try to go find somebody? I mean, I don't know. But they have too good of a team. They built too good of a team outside of their offensive line, which is shaky, to just go, well, you know what? It's a wash this season.
Of course, name I heard it on a sports show this afternoon. They don't think the Rams will do it, but they're supposedly trying to get Stafford.
Really?
Like a veteran, somebody like him to come in and, like I said, I don't know if
is Tom Brady completely out of the question?
Yes.
Is he? Okay, I didn't think about that.
There's no way he's. Well, let me ask you this: if you're
for the Raiders too,
well, yeah, and if you're 44 years old like he is, and you just watch that offensive line give up all, I mean, you going there? No.
He had.
He doesn't need the money.
He had an interesting tweet. He was in New York there, and, where he basically said, I'm here a lot now, and. So I don't know. It's but they've got to find somebody, Chris. I'm like you. They've got to.
They just put him in the Patriots Hall of Fame, Ring of Fame, or whatever. He certainly can't go to the Jets because I mean would that be awful or what? So week 1. And then we got to get out of here. But week 1, who was your biggest? What's your biggest takeaway?
Honestly, the Lions. The very first game of the week.
Yeah,
they impressed me. Maybe it's their year to finally win the North. I don't know if it will be or not, but it's. I think they look good. What else? The Cowboys, obviously. And how bad? And I know you're probably looking at the best team in the NFC, but how bad Pittsburgh looked. 49ers are legit.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt.
They're legit.
I was stunned by how badly the Bills looked against the Jets team that as soon as Rodgers went down, they should have pounded.
Oh yeah.
And throwing so many interceptions and the kicker doing a big effort.
What about the bonus that the cornerback for the Jets, who had in his contract, 3 interceptions on the season, he gets a $250,000 bonus. He gets 3 in one game.
Yeah.
And then if he goes up to 5, it's $500,000, and 10, it's $1 million. So the guy is working on his bankroll for sure. But my takeaway was, come on, Joe Burrow, let's go. I mean, the Bengals are predicted to have a really good year, but the Chiefs look really good as well, I thought.
Chiefs play the Jaguars this week, Cowboys, Jets, and where's your Bengals at?
Miami, maybe? The Dolphins?
It's a tough game, too.
I was thinking that's
Ravens. They got Baltimore.
They got the Ravens.
That's not going to be real easy.
It won't.
All right, that's going to do our show this week. John, real quick, Adair County.
7 o'clock home, Monroe County. We'll go on about 6:40.
And Lindsey Wilson's on the air at 11:15 with our pregame, 12:15 with our pregame. 1 o'clock kickoff against Point University right here, 101.9. Thanks to our sponsors, TJ Regional Health, United Citizens Bank, Lindsey Wilson College, and our title sponsor, JNS Auto Sales. For Austin Armstrong, Scott Bennett, John Shelley, I'm Chris Wells. This has been the JNS Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local.